Hi friends, it's Udhaya from Backyard Garden Highlights. Hope you guys are doing great today. Today I'm planning to share it with you guys how I'm doing the winter sowing and what are all the various seeds that I'm using for winter sowing method. So without further ado, let's get into the video and see the exciting winter sowing process. Now let's look at what are the things you need for winter sowing. So I have all the seeds that I'm planning to plant today. Sharp knife, scissors. Then you need the duct tape for insulating the water jugs after we are done with the seeding. I used to purchase these duct tape from a dollar store, so $1.25 each rolls. You need the labels, and I have actually saved all the labels that I used in my last time winter sowing. I'm going to reuse them unless I need to write a new one. This is to make sure you are able to identify which plant if you are growing them for the first time. But once you are used to all these seedlings, you'll be able to differentiate what seedlings each one are. Then I have water and potting mix. It's better to use potting mix rather than seed starting mix because we are using this outside. So for outdoor, better to have some soil that can hold some amount of water. Now let's prepare the potting soil. I have bought 64 dry quart potting mix. Let me tell you guys how to make the potting soil prepared for winter sowing. Add water and make sure this potting soil is prepared in a way that when you squeeze them, they don't drip water, but they hold enough moisture for you to start with the seeding today. So the soil is now prepared. When you squeeze them, it should not drip water, but it can hold the shape like this. So when you prepare the soil, try that method. It works really better. I'm squeezing now, it doesn't drip water and it can hold the shape also. So that is, I think, what one of my expert gardener, one of my favorite channel, Garden Answer, Laura mentioned. So I follow that as a mantra whenever I do the winter sowing. Alright guys, now let me show you how to make this water can or a milk jug as a greenhouse. The first step is flip this water can or the milk jug downward and then start making some drainage hole. This is the prerequisite for your winter sowing because this will help any excessive water to drainage from the jug. So it is definitely a vital step for starting with the drainage hole, and I try to create in a bunches. So let me do the same thing for some more cans. So same process, just flip them upside down. You can use a sharp knife or you can use any screwdriver, and I find this step useful doing it first step before I cut the jug, because after you cut the jug it becomes really tricky. Same step becomes very easy if you make it like all the things ready before you start using the soil. So now that the drainage holes are ready, the next step is I create a kind of a 1-inch cut this side and then this side just near that handle, so the handle can act as a hinge for it. So once you make that mark, start cutting them and make sure you have at least 4 inches of depth. You can have the root balls grow nicely for your seeds. So once you make that cut, you just start cutting them, and it's kind of, I try to make it straight, but if it does not happen, it's okay, no worries. So as I said, this 1-inch gap that you leave near the handle, that can act as a hinge for you. So now one jug is ready. So I'm going to follow the same process for a couple of more, and then I start doing this seed process, sowing process. Having an amazing weather during winter, especially in the weekend, that makes this process very easier, and it's really interesting, and it makes of really a good feel. You stay in your garden for this activity even during the winter. That makes me feel so happy about the winter sowing method. Alright, so let me do one more and then I can sow them. It's going to sunset very soon, and once sunset, the winter dusk weather is going to come. I have to wrap up this very quickly, so hopefully I can make this very quick. And having everything ready makes that process easier, even if you have to cooperate with the nature. Now let's get into the sowing part. I am filling this part with the soil. Alright guys, now the potting soil is ready and it is filled in this container. Now the next step is how to sow the seeds. Ideally, when you sow the seeds, you need to look at the seed packet direction, and I'm planning to plant snapdragon. So snapdragon seeds are very tiny, so basically you just need to place them, and maybe on the top you can cover it with some little bit soil so they can germinate. I learned to use two different gloves. One glove I used to use I handle the soil, and other glove I use only for the other purpose. My hands are not wet, because when you take the seeds, snapdragon seeds are very tiny and they tend to stick in the hand itself. So it's vital to keep your hand clean and dry, so the seeds doesn't come out of the soil and stick with your hand. So that's, I think, one interesting thing I learned over the period of winter sowing, or even any time you sow the seeds. I just opened the seed packet, and let me show you how the snapdragon seeds looks. Look how tiny these snapdragon seeds are. Alright guys, so now I have taken the snapdragon seeds. You can sow as many seeds you want, as long as you have a confidence that you won't damage the seedlings once the seedlings are ready to transplant. So I have tried all different methods by looking at the different gardeners, how they really sow them. So I try to sow limited seeds when I want to have them not disturbed, like stalk seeds. It's good to have them separately so you don't have to deal with their root damage. So snapdragon, I have got almost 25 to 30 seeds within this pack, like within this one. So I'm thinking to use maybe 25 seeds in this one, but let's see. I'm just making a space for me to create a kind of a row. I'm planning to use maybe 3 rows. I'm just taking these seeds, and you can see I must have almost maybe 30 plus seeds. So they are very tiny, so I'm just sprinkling them in few distance. So after sow them, I'm just spreading little bit of soil on top of it and gently tapping them. When you gently tap them, the seed contacts the soil and the germination process takes very easy for the seeds. I try to use the label on the corner. So this is the label that I actually used for last time when I was winter sowing on February mid. And once you are able to make the labeling, and you just close them, and before you use duct tape, make sure this entire side where you are planning to use the duct tape, there is no soil around that surface, because when there is a soil, the duct tape may not stick well. So it's recommended that you try to make sure, inspect and make sure there is no soil around that space. After you are done with it, make sure you press them firmly so the duct tape is stick around the surface of the can. To the left, I have the label inside as well. I really like to write on top of the can also. So now the jug is ready, and you won't see anything here until you keep them, but next 2 weeks if you come outside, you will see a lot of water droplets mist inside, because that's the greenhouse effect that creates. I have filled in all the containers. Now I'm going to sow them as seed, and I also labeled so that I can use the appropriate cans to use. This is the stock seed that I have collected from my previous year garden, hoping that these seeds will grow and give me seedlings. I have collected these seeds, but I didn't label them what color each one. I think that's something I should start doing next time onwards. So this year I'm just going to try. If you just peel them, you will get all the stock seeds. Look at this. This is kind of a 2 layers. When you split it, you get a lot of seeds. You need to gently, take them out. This is how the China Aster seed looks, and I'm planning to use them in 2 water jugs. Alright guys, hope you guys liked watching this video. I'll see you in another video. Please support my channel by subscribing, commenting and sharing it with your friends.